What's up everyone? Today I have another speed painting video for you and, you guessed it, I'll be focused on improving with the mixer brush. What can I say? This is just the kind of stuff I've been feeling lately. I've been looking at a lot of great art and I really want to keep practicing these things, so you gotta just go where the inspiration takes you. While I don't have much of an idea of what I want to paint, I know I want a nighttime scene with lots of purples. Actually, the more I've created, the more I realize I actually really like using purple, and I find myself looking for ways to better incorporate it into my work any chance I get. I'm once again working entirely from imagination here. I've been really interested in further exploring myself through my art. I can feel that I'm on the verge of a major level up in my skills, but I'm just missing something still. I'm of course always soaking in the art from others and my favorite artists like Craig Mullins or several of the Magic the Gathering illustrators, but at the moment I do feel like I'm finally able to explore and go wild on the canvas, relying only on my own interests and intuition. It may sound silly, but it took me many years to get to this point, and I'm eager to capitalize on it while that curiosity is still burning. So at first I'm thinking we'll have a path or a stairway leading down a cliffside, maybe to a town or some ruins, a temple, I don't know. But the focal point could be this big altar or maybe some ruined structure that acts as a warning to travelers. Well, ultimately the composition just wasn't working for me, and I really didn't like what I had done so far. At this point, I was close to an hour into the painting already, and really, I could have just cut my losses and moved on to a new one. But I'm trying to make sure I finish these. I think it's important to complete these kinds of works. It's not like they take a whole lot of time anyways, and besides, finished is such a vague term in the first place that so long as you stick to your time limit, you can still learn a lot even from a complete failure of a painting. So even though I spent more time on this than I would have liked, a total of 3.5 hours, I still feel like I learned more about the mixer brush, what brushes I like to use with it, and just maybe how to recover from a bad painting. It's funny because I really try to paint on a single layer as much as possible when doing personal work like this, especially speed paintings. Layer management on big projects for clients is always a pain, plus working on one layer can yield so many different results and happy accidents. I think it's a great way to practice and to save the hardcore layer management for the paid work. Though, I'm not above ignoring the power of digital. You can see how much I was able to change and easily repaint this one because I decided to go against sticking to a single layer. So the moral is, utilize your tools as you see fit. You can see I've struggled with what exactly to put in the background. I played with the ruins idea, but it just wasn't working for me, and I didn't have the time to keep repainting this section. So naturally, I painted a limb, or extremity, coming out of the snow, maybe an awakened giant creature holding something that would break the skies. I've definitely talked about this before, but it's always worth mentioning. It is so fun thinking up all this lore, characters, scenarios, and stories to fill your paintings with. You really get to feel like a kid smashing your toys together again. It's such a treat building up these worlds in your head, then trying to communicate that world through your brushstrokes to your viewer. Then you get to do it all over again in an entirely new world on a fresh canvas. It's great. All of these changes I made over time ended up fitting the overall mood of this piece by the end, complete with some tentacles piercing the skies. Very Lovecraftian and very Hellboy. While I admittedly may not be super thrilled with this painting, it's the kind of idea that I definitely wouldn't mind approaching again down the road as a full-blown piece. I did like the original idea of this pathway potentially leading down to whatever it is we saw in the background, so I bring back the statue I was working on and start fleshing out the foreground with more details. Generally, all this will be the focal point, so I try punching up the visual interest by giving the statue a torch to warm up the area and cleaning up all the rocks a bit. Some smaller details like the pikes in the ground and the rope along the side are just fun storytelling elements, which is always the funnest stuff to include in a painting. As a matter of fact, I feel like whoever would have built this here wouldn't have wanted people coming along and messing around with whatever that is in the background. So let's illustrate that by boarding up the cave interest and lining it with some skeletons. Looking at these skulls and the pikes now, it's funny how out of scale they are. They are way too big to be human. I was working zoomed out this entire time, like I normally do, and by this point I'm just in a mad rush to finish because I'm way past my bedtime. We'll pretend that they're far from human. It's an easy fix. In the end, I do hit it with some finer details, a little color balancing, level adjusting, and adding a bit of atmospheric perspective to the background. alright, another painting done. I gotta say, at the hour mark, I was pretty disappointed with the piece, and while I admittedly still don't love it, I do think I managed to salvage it and make it something that reads well and tells a story. I hope you enjoyed the process. If you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if you think I pulled this painting back from the depths of ugliness. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everyone.